Good evening, everybody. I'm so happy that our pandemic is getting over. I wanted to share a little bit of background about myself. I am a registered nurse, and I've been working with infants and babies and families for about 35 years of my career. And so at this point, I've earned a certificate in infant baby mental health, and I would like to talk about that this evening. I think that infant baby mental health is such a huge topic, and people don't even realize that mental health actually starts in the womb. So the way that mental health starts in the womb is by the influences to the mother, the outside exposures. Babies can hear noise in the womb at about 28 weeks and see light through the belly at about 32 weeks. So if that noise is particularly loud, or the lights are flashing or very intense or too much, that can be disturbing to the baby. Also, if the mom is in a lot of personal distress, domestic violence issues, things like that, that can also influence the hormones that are circulating in the mom's system, and that enhances baby's mental health or starts having mental health issues early in the womb. When babies are born, their brain weighs about a pound, and within that first year of growth, they get their brain to go actually to about 2 pounds. When they're born, they have about 100 billion brain cells. And what do we want to do with those brain cells? We want to support them. We want to nurture them. We want to build great connections. We don't want to have our children grow up and recover from a childhood that was delivered onto them. So some of our most important things that we can consider when we're handling our children is, are we handling all things for them? Are we having them physically stimulated, mentally stimulated? Are they getting nurturing care? Are they feeling safe and secure? A lot of times people in the past have thought that babies don't necessarily have a lot of these emotions in their earlier times, but I'm here to tell you that infants, from the second that they're born, have interaction with their mothers and the world around them. Mental health, if the parents are having issues and then the babies are having issues as well, babies feed off of the stress that the parents have. And mental health is such an important thing in our lives. I believe it is of vital importance to consider that babies do have this need to have mental health support even from a very young age, to make sure that we're protecting them from stressful situations, that we're not allowing toxic situations or prolonged situations to happen for them. Sometimes I'll get questions from families about how they've heard in the past that babies can be spoiled from holding them too much and that type of thing. But what we've actually found through the research over the years is that babies that are nurtured and responded to quickly calm down quickly, settle quickly, where if you allow your children to lay around and cry or really seek attention from you, hanging on your leg, and you're just ignoring them and kind of brushing them off, those types of things really do cause more problems for them down the road, and they seek attention-seeking behavior. So we really want to consider that when we're handling these babies, what kind of adult do you want in your life? How do you support this fine adult to be developed in your family? And how do you protect your child to make sure that they're well-rounded and they're ready to go out in the world? Again, not having to recover from all of the things that they were exposed to when they were a child. How many of us as adults right now have had things happen to us in our childhood that we're working on recovering from? And when that is happening to us, it limits our engagement with the world, it limits our engagement as parents, all these other things. So my really big aim is, how do we support and nurture our children's mental health from the time of conception to make sure that, again, they do not have to recover from a horrible childhood and develop mental health problems. I want to share this drawing. It was drawn in 1870, and it's a person who had schizophrenia, and I can only imagine in the times of 1870 that a lot of times people were not very supportive or even aware of infant baby mental health. So this picture, when you look at it, it shows the struggle inside someone's head of between the good and the bad. The good is trying really hard cannot deal with the bad. The good is trying to remove the bad's thoughts here, and the bad is choking on the good. So here's a schizophrenic's drawing from 1870. And I think when I'm looking at that, it's just really crazy to me to look at the internal struggle that that person's feeling. I'm sorry that the text is backwards, but basically all it says is that person has schizophrenia, and it's happening from 1870. And so I'm going to leave a closing thought here in infant baby mental health. I was out dealing with a client the other day. Their baby is about 8 months old, and it was one of these things that it was a huge epiphany, because you see these little triggers and these little things that happen in babies, but this whole incident just really was the reason why I wanted to develop this comment and talk about this today. So the baby's mother has a lot of mental health issues. She's been struggling for years with it, has had other children that are not living with her anymore. Her current boyfriend and her are not always getting along and working on trying to figure out their custody issues. And it's also really, really hard to be a parent when you have untreated mental illness, that you are not engaging with the services. Even though services are trying to be offered to you, mom is still refusing them. So baby lives in the home with mom, who has a long-term mental health issue, and dad, it's a new struggle for him, and he's not really sure how to deal with us all. So as we're talking, the mom became agitated, and baby was there with the father and I sitting. Mom started to walk off. She wanted to go upstairs to smoke a cigarette, and as she walked away, I watched her little daughter watch her mother walk away. And she was very focused on her mother. She was very much watching her and looking at her going up the stairs. The father and I continued to communicate, and we played with the baby with a little toy, and I was engaging the baby and trying to get her to laugh with us. We were doing some back and forth play between the dad and I, and putting the baby in the middle of us. As soon as the mom was done with smoking her cigarette and she was coming down the stairs, the baby disengaged from our activity that was going on. And as soon as she disengaged from this activity, she looks up at her mother and watches her come down the stairs. And as soon as the mother got close enough to her, the baby cried and lifted her little arms up towards her mother for, hey, pick me up. And mom picked her up and started talking to her a little bit. And then the baby held onto the mom's arm and kind of gave me this weird little side-eye type of look, and also a look like that to her father as well. And she started to cry. I was sitting there watching that, and I didn't point it out to the family at the time, but in reflection, when I got in the car, I thought, there you go. That's mental health right there happening. This baby developed in a mom that was having mental health struggles, and at 8 months old, she's already aware enough that her mother needs support. Her mother needs emotional support. We do not always think that babies, because they don't verbally communicate with us, that their other cues in communication are not important. But this baby right then and there at 8 months old is taking care of her mentally ill mother and giving her emotional support when her mother was stressed. And it was a huge thing for me to see. So don't ever think that a baby's mental health does not matter. And I want you all to remember that mental health truly does start in the womb. I hope you have a great night. And again, my name is Whitney Eads. I'm a registered nurse. I've been working for 35 years in all different sorts of genres in the medical field. Right now, my main focus is infant baby mental health. I hope you have a great night.